A very warm evening for us here in West Michigan after a warm and humid day. Most of our temperatures are still in the middle 70s, and 77 for Grand Rapids is pretty warm. 80 though for Kalamazoo, the warmest spot out there right now. Most of the spots towards the 94 corridor are a little bit on the warmer side, but overall super warm for us right now, pretty much on par with where we were last night. As we go through tonight, there could be a couple of thunderstorms possible after midnight, and then we'll see that again for tomorrow. Very muggy as well because of a cold front coming, and that's going to help trigger a few thunderstorms. That could be on the stronger side tomorrow afternoon. Perhaps some damaging gusts briefly possible, but most of us are going to be getting heavy rain with any of these storms, and that's probably the more exciting thing for us. Once that front comes through, though, much less humid. We're finally going to get a break from the humidity, but it's not actually going to be all that cool. The cool down will be brief, but at least will be dry for several days. All of these thunderstorms that have recently developed towards Chicago and are trying to make their way through Lake Michigan are what we'll expect for our very early morning thunderstorms. Some rumble of thunder possible, but that's about it other than heavy downpours. And then for everybody, it's going to be this cold front moving into Minnesota that will be headed our way for tomorrow that could give us a few strong to severe storms. We're all covered in a marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow, mainly because it's hot and it's humid and we have a front coming. And those three things are all storms need in order to briefly become strong. But some occasional gusty winds of maybe 40 to 50 miles an hour I think are going to be the bigger concern, along with heavy downpours. We definitely need the rain, but it's been so dry for most of us lately that if the rain comes down too heavily, it can actually create a lot of runoff and it won't actually soak into those soils. So that could provide perhaps a bit of a flooding threat depending on where some of those downpours occur. For tonight, we'll be right around 70 degrees and seeing some of those showers and thunderstorms get to moving in by about midnight or so, but most of us will not be affected by those overnight. Tomorrow, a little cooler, especially along the lakeshore, low 80s, but most of us will be in the mid 80s with winds of 10 to 15 miles an hour, mainly from the southwest. Looking at some of these storms coming in for the early morning hours, likely impacting 96 and south between midnight and around 3 a.m. Couple of showers could continue through the early morning, but then we may see another round of showers and storms come in by midday. These will likely not be severe and could steal a lot of the energy from the atmosphere, limiting the coverage and intensity of storms that come in the evening with the actual cold front. But it does look like most of us will end up with some sort of rainfall with this system as it comes through, which is so desperately needed. Of course, we could have anything from a couple hundredths of an inch to maybe a third of an inch to maybe more than that, just depending on where all of those heavy corridors of rain set up. Once this system exits, though, that is pretty much it for our rain for the rest of the work week. High temperatures go from the low 80s, which is close to average for Wednesday and Thursday, back to the upper 80s and even a chance for a 90-degree day again.